Hello, my fellow Earthling. Just like the rest of the world, I have become a completely different human when the clock struck midnight earlier this month, but unfortunately, it's New Year, same me. Man, I gotta stop making time-sensitive videos because I always finish them later than a girl entering her college classroom with Starbucks in hand. You know, when you finish school and enter the workforce, you don't really get a true break in between semesters, so any federal holidays is like a blessing in disguise. But that said, I finally have a full week off from work and I absolutely have nothing planned to fill up all of this free time. But if I had decided to lock myself in the house with nothing to do, I would be chilling in my room in silence with existential dread, thinking how I'm going to doom scroll and doom spend, and staring at that sad millennial white walls. Wait, are those cracks? So I knew I had to do the most difficult thing an introvert had to do, which is to leave the house. Wow. Anyways, I went to a local science museum and oh my gosh, save that poor little man. I dragged my cousin out with me because ain't no way in hell I made it outside here by myself. So by the time we left the battlefield that is this museum parking lot and exited the building, we had managed to kill 4 whole hours swimming underground with the fishes, frolicking in the butterfly rainforest, which was cool as heck. I have to note that it was the most humid dome that wasn't a Southeast Asian country or an indoor concert. There was also a planetarium where we watched a presentation for this little chef collab, you know, the one that was stuck in the dinosaur's mouth. Now before the actual showing, there was this slideshow of science trivia questions on the screen, and I like to let you guys know that I've done my part to defy Asian stereotypes by getting every single question wrong. What is the most abundant element in the world? Ooh, I know, friendship. Huh? After managing to accidentally catch the penguin feeding, raiding the gift shop where I got a mallet of clawed the albino crocodile, rip, and eating an overpriced cafeteria salad, we were well on our way home with most of the day taken care of. Though when I ordered a salad, I told the cafeteria lady I wanted a quinoa salad and she hit me with the most confused face. Now I didn't think twice at the time because people always look at me all funny, but you guys, I learned that it's actually pronounced quinoa. Ugh. My cousin was very disappointed in me and wondered how I got through college. Never stop learning, y'all. Then of course there are the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day family celebrations, which is always a grand old time when my grandma reproduces like a baby factory. And so my grandma had so many kids and results in having this really massive family. Judging from what you will about my race, you can bet my family is naturally loud, crazy, yappy, and gossipy. But you can tell how much I love them when I don't feel like wanting to melt into the walls halfway through the party. One thing to mention though is that when you have a huge family gathering, people start breaking out into small groups when it's mealtime. You gotta catch everyone up with what's going on with your life over and over and over and over. By the way, the default answer is always, life is good, thank you for asking. No, I am not pregnant yet. Yep, still at the same job. Wait, your nephew-in-law watches my YouTube video? Shit. Here's what I want from White Elephant, by the way. Alright, so that's 3 days down out of the 7 days of my break at this point, so is it finally time to brain rot? Nope. I'm a personal victim of myself in which I tend to overcommit to a project that starts really small and then I keep adding more and more to the damn thing. And when it eventually overblows into this massive bigger project than a hot air balloon, I start dreading the thought of working on it any longer. Well, that was what happened to this monthly sketchbook project. If you're new here, I started this back in September with this video. Now let me explain. Like a squirrel hoarding these nuts before winter hibernation, I hoard sketchbook, except it is an actual problem. So instead of stewing on the consequences of my own action, I attempted to take matters into my own hand and set out to start filling out these pages. Oh god, that's huge. So back in September, I had picked the thickest and juiciest sketchbook from the vault and set out to have all of these pages filled out by the end of 2025. God, I hate myself. Anyways, so a huge chunk of the week was spent churning out these pages and filling it with crap. Unfortunately, I also have a backlog of art tutorials I have hoarded throughout the previous years, and I've never touched them once after buying them. If you thought my hoarding problem was only restricted to my sketchbook, oh, you are so wrong, buddy. A lot of artists scattered around the interwebs would often offer art tutorials behind a paywall, which is like, cool, go get your bag. but sometimes they would go on sale, and your girl here will never turn her back on a sale, so I said, what the hell, let's get it. I think this particular course was on sale early 2025. This here is the Derek D'Souza online course. He's a really cool artist on Instagram. This is not sponsored, by the way. I just really liked how he drew backgrounds and how vibrant they are, so I figured I could learn a thing or two from him. I spent quite some time painting along with his tutorials, and the art here are all my recreation. Now, isn't that so cool? I don't think I'll try to be a complete copy of him, which isn't the point of doing all of these tutorials, but I did love the way he painted clouds. I'm definitely taking that page out of his book and yoinking that into my own illustration. Because I spent so much time on these, I can do a little show and tell on a couple more drawings. A brutal truth that's hard to swallow is that every artist is going to start their grand journey by wanting to draw everything and anything like a dehydrated sponge desperate for water. But over time, as you keep drawing over and over, you will start becoming self-aware on what you enjoy drawing. And in my case, I do not enjoy drawing these damn buildings. At this point, we're almost done with my week here, but we are now reaching the climax and highlight of what feels like a week of retirement life. I should note that in between all of the silliness that went down this far, I was project managing the house chores and optimized every last minute, wiping that dirty ass kitchen counter, loading the laundry, and cleaning all those dishes. And the moment I looked up at the clock, the sun had already set. All respect to house spouses, because I cannot imagine doing this every single day. But back on topic, I have specifically cleaned the house for this very reason. Welcome to your new home, baby! Ow, my back. Yes, I got an unassembled bookshelf and made sure to clear my schedule to get some serious building done. Bob the Builder will get a run for his money once I put together this majestic beast of a bigger and better and beastly bookshelf to replace my old ancient one. Even my rabbit disapproved and said it was time for a new shelf as evidence of her chew mark. Hey, say hi to chat. So about the old shelf, it does do the job, but it is quite overflowing with the contents, and I have always wanted to hide this hot mess of my art supply. One fun fact about me is while I cannot recite a science fact for the absolute life of me, I sure as hell can build things, as long as there is an instruction booklet. Okay, so this fella has 17 pages, not the worst I've seen, but you just know it's gonna feel so good when it's done. Most of the time, I'm more excited about building the damn thing than the actual furniture itself. No, I am not blinking twice for help. Okay, so we are now around the halfway point of putting together this contraption, and it's taken me around 2 hours thus far. Look, even my cat is trying to sabotage me. As you can see, the cat and the dog are very amused. Now, if you think you saw me needing to redo a couple of steps because I had installed the plank backwards, no you didn't. Alright, my dudes, the shelf is done! This was truly the highlight of the week. I've already went and migrated everything to this new shelf and threw everything back together. Maybe I'll put more time into making it more hashtag aesthetic later down the road, but check this out. Ta-da-da! Everything is hidden away, like sweeping a problem under the rug. What a great solution to my ever-growing pile of art supplies. I even moved some of my favorite art books here. So now here we are, the final day of 2025. But I just wanted to wish you all a wonderful Happy New Year. Now, as much as I do fool around and just do whatever I feel like, I am quite the planner myself. But after staring at myself blankly through a mirror and into my own soul, I've decided to not try to overplan so much this year. In the past, I would overprogram my year according to my delusional goals, and I just don't want to feel like a hamster spinning on the wheel. So for 2026, I want to focus on trying new things at my own snail pace with the limited free time I have. There are so many art challenges I want to try this year, and a ton of art classes I also want to sign up for, so it truly be like letting Jesus take the wheel in 2026. With that said, thank you for watching me frolic randomly on my 1 full week break from my corporate job. Keep drawing, and I wish you all an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye!